Hey everyone, welcome to Soul Friend Astrology again. My name's Nate, and this is my very special guest, Calvin. Who's the best dog in the United States? You didn't come here for corgi content, you came here for quality astrology. And I'm happy to jump into that because we've got an exciting week. Coming up in the next couple of days. Before I get started, I wanted to point your attention to a new project that I'm working on that I think will be exciting for a lot of you. You may not know this about me, but I worked professionally as a vocational counselor and job coach for a while. And one of the projects that I'm creating now is a kind of vocational astrology reading. If you're stuck, if you don't know what the heck you're doing with your life right now, and if you need some coaching on how to approach your job search or how to figure out what it is that you are supposed to be doing with your professional life in this incarnation, what I will be offering are two things. One will be a specialized vocational reading that'll look at all of the significators of career in your birth chart to give you some insight as to how you can best use your energies to move forward in a positive direction in terms of your career and your profession. The other thing that I'm developing is a career coaching program, and I'm going to have only a very limited number of slots for that. But what that will entail is one-on-one coaching sessions with me, check-in emails, accountability, follow-up, encouragement, and my unyielding support for you in figuring out where it is that you're going with your career. So if you're interested in either of those services as they are in development, go ahead and click the link below to sign up for my mailing list, and more information will be coming out about those offerings in the next couple of weeks, especially after Mercury gets out of his retrograde and is now moving direct, so we can actually get some plans put together, right? Thank you again for being part of the Soul Friend Astrology community. I'm so glad to have such wonderful viewers. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Sharing is caring. So this week we've got an interesting energy shift as we've got three major stories happening. The first of these things is that Mercury will actually station direct. Mercury has been retrograde for about 3 weeks now, and on Thursday afternoon at 4:20, Mercury will be stationing direct in Scorpio. So that means that this period of confusion, of my own inability to speak complete sentences. Calvin, don't chew the tripod! So that means that this period of confusion, of messiness, of sloppiness in relation to communications will be coming to an end until Mercury stations retrograde the next time in a couple of months. So that's one major component of this story that's getting built. The second component of this story is that very early in the morning on Friday morning in Eastern time, Mars will conjoin Neptune at 13 degrees Pisces. Now, Mars has been in Pisces for a little while, ever since he got out of Aquarius. And that has felt for many of us like this dissolution of our desires, of our drives. We know that we want to go forward in some kind of direction, but that way has really not been clear at all. Now, with Mars conjoining Neptune, that's going to become even less clear. So one of the images that came to mind when I was thinking about this configuration was the image of troubled waters. We know that there's something hot down deep within us that's causing some energy, some excitement, but really we don't know what that's about. We don't know where these strong emotions are coming from. We don't know where these dreams and these visions are coming from. So this is a really excellent opportunity for us to, instead of trying to focus in and figure out what it is that we want, to let all of the bubbles of our desires come to the surface. And in this time, we have the opportunity to engage with them in a more constructive way, simply by letting them be as they are. Now is not really the time for us to act on any of this. Now is the time for us to let what will come to the surface do so that we have this wonderful material that we can skim off the top as Mars is troubling the waters of our psyches collectively. The reason that I started by delineating these two components of this week's story is that both of them are programmed into the new moon that we have happening on Friday the 7th, very early in the morning as well. Mars's conjunction to Neptune and the moon's conjunction to the sun, the new moon, both happened very, very close to one another in terms of time. So not only do they happen close to each other in time, but they also happen at a very tight angle spatially. So the Mars-Neptune conjunction occurs at 13 degrees Pisces. The new moon occurs at 15 degrees Sagittarius. So they're only 2 degrees removed. So that means that this new moon is going to import this Mars-Neptune energy into it. If you remember too, Mercury actually stationed retrograde at 15 degrees Sagittarius as well. So there is also a connection to Mercury cycle that is getting bundled into this new moon period. New moons, wherever they occur, are about beginning new cycles. And so, depending on where Sagittarius falls in your chart, what house Sagittarius falls in, this new moon is going to generate a new cycle that will unfold and grow into its fullness over the next 6 months. So by the time the moon is full in Sagittarius, in 6 months' time, this will happen around mid-June of next year. By the time the moon is full in Sagittarius next year, what has begun this month will really be apparent. It's important to note too that as this cycle is beginning, it's going to import the diffusion of desires generated by Mars's placement in Pisces and his conjunction with Neptune. And it's also going to import some of the Mercury retrograde energy because the new moon is happening on Mercury's station degree. So it's almost like the moon, as it is coming to the conjunction of the sun, will pick up some of that Mercury station backwards energy. So whatever may have come to the fore for you over these past couple of weeks, as you've been retreading old ground, as you have been having to go back and do something a second or a third time to get it right, maybe that has generated some of the activity that will become apparent in the unfolding new moon to full moon cycle that will occur over the next 6 months. To give you a great example of how these cycles work, I'll share from my own experience. Last year around this time, I joined a couple of astrological associations, some professional astrological associations, and the new moon that occurred in Sagittarius happened in my 11th whole sign house. Now I'm using whole sign houses this way for the sake of simplicity because it also happened in my 10th quadrant house. But for the sake of simplicity, this happened in my 11th whole sign house, and the 11th house is associated with friends, with groups, and associations. So I made some initial motions as relates to friends, groups, and associations last year around this time. And I also decided to attend the United Astrology Conference that happened in Chicago back at the end of this past May. So as I began this cycle that began in my 11th house of friends, groups, and associations, I saw that grow and become new friendships and new communities and new people with whom I have found my home over the next 6 months. And I left UAC with new friends, new associations, and really having the fabric and the structure of my life changed in an important way. UAC actually coincided with the full moon in Sagittarius this past May, or at least the end of UAC did. So that motion was present and really came to fruition there. So wherever this new moon is occurring in your chart will be important for you to pay attention to as you are moving forward in the next 6 months. And it will also require you to pay attention to the way that Mars conjoining Neptune in Pisces impacts your chart. And it will call you to pay attention to the way Mercury has asked you to be retrospective over the past few weeks. Now, I could spend another 20 minutes delineating this for all of you through each of the signs. But instead what I decided to do is that I would record a short video for each of the signs to interpret how this new moon will begin a new cycle. Because I don't want to just give you examples, I want to give you something you can work with. So I've created a playlist of really short videos, and that link will be at the end of this video, and it's also below. It's a playlist. So go find the video for your rising sign if you know it. You could also watch the video for your sun sign if you were born during the daylight hours, or your moon sign if you were born during nighttime hours, and use that as a guide to thinking about how you will be approaching this new cycle that's emerging. Because Mars is conjoining Neptune and he's already in a watery sign, energy levels are really gonna flag this weekend. This is not the weekend to do a lot of to put out a lot of energy. This is not the weekend to try to check everything off of your holiday preparation list. This is a weekend for all of us to hit the pause button and pay attention to what is bubbling up from the depths of our desires and how those desires may impact the new cycle that's beginning with the new moon in Sagittarius. So be sure to check out the video for your rising sign. Thank you so much for being with me today, and I look forward to connecting with all of you in the comments below. Thanks so much. Be well.